Hello and welcome to Kimchi Rednecks, where today we are in the kitchen, so I guess we're cooking?
Yes, but we are not cooking Korean food today, which is
No.
unusual for us.
I am actually going to fix, and I can't remember, I'll say this, go ahead and preface it with this. I don't remember exactly where I found the recipe, but I've been making this for years. So I went back through my Pinterest and I dug deep and I found a recipe that I'm guessing was probably the original. So I'm giving you in the comment section or in the description. It goes in the description. In the description, you'll have damndelicious.net's recipe. This is Tuscan Tortellini Soup. Literally, it is my mom's favorite soup that I make. And I think Chuck's pretty fond of it too.
Yeah, I can deal with it.
Oh, only deal with it, huh? Well, then I guess I'm not cooking then. You change your mind now?
Yeah, sure, I like it.
All right, so I do base my recipe on her recipe, I think. I think that was the original. Like I said, don't know for 100% sure. But I also make adjustments here and there. So we'll use her recipe if you want to make it the first time, and then you can make adjustments, but you'll see basically what I do. So the very first thing we're going to do is heat up about a tablespoon of olive oil.
And because somebody took way too long to get the camera set up for this, the olive oil is already warm, so we're just going to turn the fire back on.
That YouTube life, you got to wait the shot to be set up. This is not part of her recipe, but I really love fennel seed mixed with my Italian sausage. And because I'm actually prepping Italian sausage for this, but only using half of what I'm cooking, I'm actually putting the fennel seed in because we will use probably the rest of the Italian sausage for pizza or something else. But you'll use probably about a palmful of fennel seed and put that directly into the olive oil. And I give that like about a minute or so.
Basically, when it starts getting pungent, it should be about ready.
And then I'll add, making sure it's all in the olive oil first, that helps. And then I have 1 pound of hot Italian sausage.
Yeah, try not to cook the paper that's on the back of it.
I never cook the paper that's on the back of it.
Oh no, that was just a PSA for the viewers.
Oh, I was like, dude.
Normally I would think you wouldn't need to know that, but you know, I knew some guys in college that...
All right, and then because I don't like overly spicy sausage in my stuff, I typically mix all of my spicy sausage with sweet Italian sausage. So the hot and the sweet, because that's just me. I like it hot and I like it sweet. Like my chicken that way. I said I don't like my men that way, huh? You're hot, but you're not very sweet. So literally, again, I've put 2 pounds in here because I am actually doing this to split this for later.
Yeah, we're not cooking all this in the food.
So you're only going to use 1 pound of this in your soup. So now we are going to put the lid on this. Probably going to take about 5-10 minutes for it to brown up, but the game plan at this point is to brown it up. All right, so we're back. So we have browned our sausage. And this is a really strange one too, because I was just telling Chuck that it's very unusual for me to see sausage that doesn't cook up a lot of grease, but this is apparently a pretty lean one. But I still am gonna drain it to make sure we don't have any extra grease in there because I don't want that. But I also need to drain it so that I can separate out what I'm gonna use. So as you can see, this is browned. You can see through all the steam there. And I have mixed up the sweet and the hot so that they're a good mix together. So now I'm going to drain it, which is pretty boring. You guys don't really need to see that. And then separate out back into the pan what I'll be using for our soup. And then we'll put the rest away for a later date. All right, so we have drained our sausage, put back our sausage in the pan. Now I'm adding in 1 whole onion, diced. And get it all in here. There we go. And basically that's just going to go in and flavor with that. And then so I've added in a whole diced onion and about 3 cloves of minced garlic. If you love more garlic, add more garlic. If you want less garlic, use less garlic. So right now we're just kind of browning up we're making our onions more translucent, which is going to be a little bit more glassy looking, so they're not as white. And then as soon as we do that, we'll be adding some more in. That takes probably about 3 to 5 minutes. All right, this is one of those that goes quick. So now the game plan is to start whisking in 2 cups of chicken stock. And that'll slow this down a little bit so that it'll help with everything. All right, so we got our 2 cups of chicken stock in. Then we're going to add in tomatoes. They're supposed to be crushed tomatoes. I did not have a whole thing of crushed tomatoes available for the right size. I believe she uses about 28 ounces, which is what I normally use, but I'm using what was available to us at the time. So this is smaller than that, and then I'm going to add some diced in as well. Okay, so this was about 26, but I'm actually, because I also have to add a cup of water, I'm just going to add the tomatoes with the juice in this one, which should cut about a cup of water in there. And we'll whisk that in. And then for spices at this point, we're going to start adding in about a 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flake. Again, that one's going to be to taste. If you don't want red pepper flake, you leave it out. If you do want more, add more. Then we've got about a 1/2 teaspoon of basil and about a 1/2 teaspoon of oregano. And then because I have this seasoning that I really like, it is a pizza seasoning from Frontier Co-op. Not sponsored, but I do love their seasonings. Got it off Amazon. So I'm gonna add about a palmful of that pizza seasoning in because that gives it a good extra flavor to it. And then you're gonna salt and pepper to taste. Chuck, you are the salt person because you like less salt than most people. Can you come add salt? I know I normally add it for you, but...
You're just trying to get me in the video.
Yeah, maybe.
See if I can manage to cut my head off again.
I'm gonna put about this much pepper. That work for you?
I'd go a little more. A little more. That looks about right.
All right, so about that much pepper.
And for a pot that size...
And remember, that's fine. Do you want the
fine?
other?
Yeah. Cook with
grabbed
the
the
coarse,
first one.
adjust with the fine.
I grabbed the other one first.
That's my own personal cooking tip. When you're cooking the soup, cook with coarse salt. When you're adjusting for final taste, then you use the fine because it dissolves a lot faster. So I'm going to say about a medium-ish palmful. Should be a good start.
And then we're gonna cook this till it boils at this point. Once it boils, we will add in our cheese tortellini, which is in the freezer right now. But we'll add that in. Some lovely flavor, but right now we're just gonna try and get that flavor into the tomatoes and the sausage here, and then we will be adding. So for now, we kick it up a little bit and boil. All right, so we have got a boil going here. So, do you have this one on? So we're back up to a boil. So we are going to add in our tortellini now. This can be any tortellini that you want. Typically a cheese tortellini is going to go better with it. We usually use what we have available, which for us is a cheese tortellini. And I put the whole bag in, which is 19 ounces. And at this point, you're going to want to turn it down. So your tortellini, this is still frozen, but it's still going to cook really quick because this has been boiling. So you're looking at maybe 5 minutes for that to cook and get up to temperature and get cooked. So I turned that back to about a medium. So at this point, that's where we are. All my tortellini is covered, so I'm just going to let that do what it needs to do. We'll see you in about 5. All right, so as you can see, I had originally, when I put the tortellini in, it all went to the bottom there, and now you can see they're starting to float to the top, which means they are done. They're also a little more noodle looking now than they were when they were frozen. So now I'm going to add about a 1/3 cup of heavy cream, and this will thicken it just a little bit, not a whole lot though. But you'll stir that in. That gives it kind of more of a creamy look to it. And then we are going to add some Parmesan. Now, we are a cheese-loving family, so typically the suggestion I think she had was a 1/4 cup. I'm using more than that, just FYI. So we'll start with that much, which is probably what, about...
I have no idea.
I don't know, maybe that was probably about 1/2 cup. We'll go with that's a 1/2 cup. And then I left some for basic to top it when I'm taking it out. But the cheese will also help the cream to thicken it up just a little bit, but you're not going to thicken it too much. So if dairy is not your thing, this is not the soup for you. Because this does have cheese in it. So you could probably always, obviously, if you wanted to go with some type of different tortellini, you could do that, but you could also avoid putting the cream in and maybe just use a little bit less of the chicken stock, but I kind of like it a little cheesy. All right, so we are going to basically let this simmer for just a few minutes, and then I'm gonna put it in the bowl. So we'll see you in just a minute. All right, so we're ready to eat. I'm actually thinking about my mom today because, like I said, this is one of her favorites that I make.
So you can't really turn a bowl of soup. That's not...
No, but I have a picture. You can put the picture there. But yeah, so I'm thinking about my mom today. Now, I serve this with croutons. You could make garlic bread, which would be probably an excellent thing to have with it as well. It's basically up to you, but I really like it with croutons because you can add as many as you like. And I top it when I serve it with a little bit of the Parmesan, so you'll mix that in. And all right, Chuck, give us a taste.
Be careful not to burn that dangly thing in the back of your throat. The uvula. Yes, I do know what it's called.
Okay.
It's just more fun to call it the dangly thing in the back of your throat.
Mom, I'm missing you today because I would love to be back in the States making you a bowl of this. So we'll eat this thinking about you. Just FYI. All right, Chuck. So tell us about the flavor and the profile.
So this has got almost all of the key ingredients of a good, like, cold, rainy weather day soup. It's tomatoey, it's creamy, it's pasta-y, it's cheesy, and you add the croutons in it, it's a little crunchy and garlicky.
So you like it a little more than you let on earlier, huh?
So it's pretty much almost everything you want in a cold weather day soup.
Now again, you're not stuck to having to use any of the ingredients that I use. Change it up a little bit. If you don't want to use Parmesan, don't use Parmesan. If you want to use Parmesan and you want to use Asiago, go for it. It's building flavors. That's what you're doing. So
The cheese tortellini is our particular favorite, but you could use a regular tortellini. You could use some sort of stuffed ravioli.
you use a spinach tortellini or like
You know,
something
they
stuffed
make
with
those like little miniature raviolis that you can get.
That would work.
Can be stuffed with anything from.
spinach. But then it wouldn't be a tortellini soup. It'd be a ravioli soup.
This is technically true. It's all pretty much the same thing. Hell, honestly, as far as I'm concerned, you could make this with mandu if you wanted to give it a, if that's what you had.
When you make your mandu soup,
Korean mandu soup is a different thing, though. This is
totally different.
totally different. Or if you had like stuffed jumbo shells, not really. That would be hard to do with a soup.
Yeah.
But if you had like wanted to make the soup and then pour it over like stuffed jumbo shells, that would be good.
So if you are into, like you didn't want to use the spicy sausage, you don't have to use the spicy sausage. You can change as needed or as desired. And you do salt and pepper this to taste. So if you discovered that you did not add what you wanted when you were cooking, you can make adjustments when you get to the table if you like, or if you have somebody who likes more or less salt, obviously use less salt when you're cooking and then add more when you get to the table.
It's really hard to take salt out of soup.
Chuck's favorite part is that there will be leftovers. I will say this, leftover wise, one day, literally one day, because you've got pasta in here and you don't want your pasta to get all nasty.
Yeah.
So,
Unless, I guess, technically you could freeze it and then reheat it back up. I don't know how well that would do.
I don't know because the ravioli was frozen to begin with. I don't know that I would want to refreeze it.
Yeah, just follow the grunt rule of reheating stuff. If you take it out of the freezer and you heat it up and it smells like crap, don't eat it. Food poisoning is not fun. Trust me, I know. She makes fun of me because I told her once that I got food poisoning 3 times from the same restaurant when I was in high school. She's like, well, why did you keep going back? I'm like, well, the food was really good. It just wasn't very sanitary.
My question was the food good the first time or the second, like going down or coming back up?
Both.
Damn, Chuck.
They made really good burgers.
I don't know what to think about that. All right, so we're going to finish our dinner here because we also have doggos who have had their dinner and would like their
Their
dinner
evening stroll.
But I'm finishing this first because I don't want this to get cold because it's cheesy.
So, like, subscribe, do the internet stuff. We'll see you around.
See you next time.